Hi, I'm Chris Doherty, and I'm going to take you through the process in a step-by-step manner for uploading and submitting your creative outputs for DHET assessment and accreditation in 2021. So this is the system that needs to be followed by all Wits creative work researchers, and it's a very simple system. It consists of two parts. The first part is creating a repository, digital repository, and then uploading your work to that repository, generating an URL for the repository so it can be accessed by your peer reviewers and by administrators in the system, and then taking that URL across to the data submission form, which you complete, and then you email that submission form to Mr. Ian Burns in the research office. So that's all there is to it. There will be, or there is a published written guide, which will also be distributed and available from the University Research Office website, as well as a copy of this video presentation and the submission forms themselves. So let's get going. I'm going to share my screen to show you the first phase. The first thing you want to do is to go to Figshare. That's www.figshare.com. And if you haven't already got an account, you'll just need to sign up for an account. It costs nothing. And the great advantage of Figshare is it's an open source repository that's widely used across all areas of academic research. And it costs nothing for an individual researcher to sign up for an account and for others to access your material on the repository. So sign up, it's absolutely standard, putting in your full name and also use your Wits email address. Then once you've signed up, we'll go to the next phase. Let me stop the share. And let's go to the next phase, which will be actually uploading your material. So here we are. Once you've signed up, you go into your account. In other words, you click on the upload link at the top of the Figshare page and ignore the projects, collections, and activities tabs. All you're going to be doing is creating a new item, and you will create a new item or folder for every one of your projects that you're submitting. Now, the first thing you do is you just search out your material, and do bear in mind that for your reviewers and everybody else who is dealing with your submission, your documentation is all they're going to have to understand your project. So it's really important that your work is properly documented. Just for the sake of this demo, I'm uploading a single MP3 by the sublime Nina Simone. And as that uploads, I could have also uploaded JPEGs, PDFs, any data files, anything that was used to document your project. So that uploads. Then you give it the title of your project. It will have automatically transferred your name from your account to this upload. The next is categories. And please do just use uncategorized. There it is. Sometimes a little bit tricky. You have to remove the search term, hit enter, and then you'll see it's there, uncategorized. The item type is media. Okay, most of you will be uploading media. And then for keyword, I suggest you just use the name of the project, and similarly under description. These aren't really necessary. They just have to be filled in so that Figshare will allow you to finish the deposit. Then once you've done that, click on Get Digital Private Link down here at the bottom. Okay. And you'll also see we have funding, references. Those are unnecessary. Don't leave them in. You don't have to fill them in. And license, leave it in the default Creative Commons 4.0. Now, all you want to do now is click the generate private link, and that URL, which you need to copy, you're going to be pasting that into the data submission form in the next stage of the submission. You just need to copy that onto your clipboard, and then you've finished. All you must do now is save the changes. we're publishing privately, so you're not publishing, you're not doing a public publication of your material. This is a private publication, and then simply hit cancel. And it'll take you back to your data page. And I recommend that you just double check, click on it, make sure that everything is there. There's my media file, the look of love. Everything else is there. So that is, if you make any changes, you can at this later stage still upload more material if you've remembered material that you needed to upload. And then if you've made changes, you save changes. And you're done. That's the upload process. Now your documentation is in a repository. You've got an URL which you can share, allowing people to have access to that repository, and you're ready to move on to the next stage, which is going to be filling in the data submission form. As you should know, there are 7 different forms according to the discipline as DHET have defined it. So choose the one that's closest to what you're wanting to submit. And then you will notice that the first thing you open, this is the fine arts data submission form. You have different subfields. So just choose which subfield is closest to your submission. You also have an option to fill in an other. So it's really up to you. Then you have to put in the type of output. Please note that if the actual work was presented physically in a physical exhibition or physical performance, note that there. Although obviously your documentation into Figshare is digital, this is the original type of output. The title of your output, and then the year that your project was first publicly exhibited or presented or performed. And note that in this cycle, the DHET is considering work over a 3-year period that was either 2018, 2019, or 2020. They're the date of your exhibition, the location of your exhibition, and then any critical opinion. These are public response or press reviews. You could have uploaded copies of these to the Figshare folder with the rest of your documentation. If that's the case, put that URL into the section. If the press reviews or public responses have other URLs, then list them here. Here is probably the most challenging part of the application. You've got a max of 700 words to frame, give the context of your creative output, your research. So you need to put that as succinctly and as coherently as you can. And then this is the section, once you get into, these are just damning me. This section here is the URL. This is where you will put the private access URL that you've just generated from the Figshare repository. Okay. Then click with, put an X whether you needed ethical clearance, and you've got ethical clearance. Another important thing is whether this was part of a PhD or master's project. They are not accepted as straight PhD or master's project because the DHET attitude is that they receive funding independently of this creative outputs assessment. If you've substantially changed or modified the work that you presented in your PhD, you need to explain it here. And then you move on to, this is such a damn thing. You then give your details as the contributor. I think everything's quite clear there. Then you need to give the other contributors who were collaborators on your project. You need to allot a percentage for their involvement. And notice the maximum number of points, subsidy points that creative work can get is 2. So it's as well not to have too many collaborators on a project. Then there's a declaration that you sign. I think absolutely standard that it's original work. It hasn't been published, hasn't been submitted for subsidy before, that you have listed everybody. And then finally, your peer reviewers. And notice the detail that is required for these peer reviewers. This is so that they can be contacted. And some people have been a bit concerned about contacting peer reviewers. to tell them that they're going to get work to assess. Please, it's very important to do that, and also to notify them that they will be receiving emails from Ian Burns in the Wits Research Office. They do need to respond to those emails, because that is how the review process will be initiated. And once you've done all of this, you are now ready to submit the data collection form to Ian Burns at ianburns.wits.ac.za. And then you've completed your project submission. Notice if you've got more than one project, then you just go back to Figshare and you will start a new item with a new title and with new documentation. So look out for this video, which will also be on the on the Research Office website, together with the data submission forms, all 7 of them, as well as a guide, a written guide to the submission process. So it's very easy. You should be able to do it. If you have difficulties, please contact me or Ian Burns. And please be aware that the window for submissions for 2021 is now open and will continue till the 31st of July. So get uploading. I wish you well. Good luck.